Yes.
So another AI data center proposal, this time here in the town of Tonawanda.
That's, I think her name's Taylor Anthony, local reporter. I think she's got great delivery. By the way, every time I see one of her reports, it's well done. Do I think we should put a data center on the Niagara River? No way. Like, why? Data centers create massive pollution. We fought Tonawanda Coke because of the pollution. Now we're going to add a data center that also increases pollution and the air quality is decreased. When are we going to learn? Why are we continuing to make the same mistakes? The Niagara River corridor should be a green paradise for ecotourism and travel. That's what it should be. And where are the leadership? Just like I said in the beginning of this podcast, when we fought Tonawanda Coke, there was all these politicians saying the same thing over and over again. We need the jobs of Tonawanda Coke. Shut up, Nate. You're hurting house values. You're hurting property values by talking about Tonawanda Coke. No, actually, by fighting Tonawanda Coke, we increased property values. Now, here we are again, a couple years later. It isn't a long time. No offense to Taylor. It's just been a couple of years. A couple years later, and we're going to just say, oh, yeah, let's put another giant polluter on the same spot. Right by the Niagara River, right by boat marinas, right by 80% of North America's fresh water that flows over the Niagara River and over the Niagara Falls every single year. 80% of North America's fresh surface water. 20%, over 20% of the world's fresh surface water. And we're going to put this giant polluting thing right there. Never mind the ethical concerns of AI, and I'm going to get into that in a second. Why on earth would we do that? Why on earth would we put another polluter along the Niagara River? I say it all the time. Why isn't the whole Niagara River corridor some sort of national park? It should be. 80% of North America's fresh water. Niagara Falls itself, arguably the greatest tourist attraction in the world. Canada gets it. They're putting billions of dollars into Niagara Falls, Canada. They already have the tallest hotel in the world right there. And we're just going to say, yeah, let's put data centers along our side. That makes sense. Never mind the chemical factories that are all along the Niagara River that don't even operate really, are just falling apart, but they're a relic from a different age that we don't talk about, including the allegations regarding the paper factory and the high rates of bladder cancer for the people that work there, allegedly. There's reports coming on that. When are we going to learn from our past mistakes? We should not put a data center on the Niagara River, okay? Let me say it clearly. I don't care. It's going to create jobs. Maybe temporarily to build it, but those things don't employ people. They create temporary construction jobs. And if we can have an argument about whether we need data centers, but we certainly do not need data centers on the Niagara River or, God forbid, in the heart of Niagara Falls. Now I'm going to teach you guys something from Niagara region. Downtown Niagara Falls, there's lots of problems, but one of the problems is because a giant developer. When I say developer, what is a developer? This guy doesn't develop anything. He just holds land and uses it for, I don't know what. I mean, I have to ask him. Tax write-offs, maybe. I don't know. He has almost 500 acres or something like that in the center of Niagara Falls. All those old houses you see that are falling down, they're actually owned by a billionaire. Yeah, a billionaire with a B who gives tons of money away to politicians. And he's had that land for 30 years. Originally, his plan was to put some sort of recreation, like, music halls and casinos down there. But he gave up that plan 30 years ago. And it's just been sitting there. And what he does is he pretends he has a project every time the city wants to do anything with that land. He said, I was going to put a casino there or something, or some alleged project. And then he said, the land is actually worth $100 million. You got to pay me for it. And he's selling off these pieces of land over the years to the city whenever the city wants to expand a park or do some humble project. Right now, the city wants to put an arena, an ice hockey arena, and we can debate what the validity of that plan later. I think something is better than nothing, if I'm honest with you. But they want to put something on that land, and this developer is like, no way. That land is for a data center. Why would we put a data center in the center of downtown Niagara Falls, a humming, polluting data center? I mean, this is the mistakes of our forefathers. We've ruined Niagara Falls in the past because of industrial waste. You may have seen the pictures of Niagara Falls. I should put the picture up here, where it used to be covered with walls and you have to pay money to look through a hole to look at the falls. It was covered with factories and mills and completely destroyed. When anybody says that we can't damage God's creation, I'm like, go look at the old pictures of Niagara Falls. We completely destroyed it. Do we really want to repeat those mistakes? We've restored the falls. It looks beautiful. There's still these old relics, these old chemical factories, but now we're going to put data centers all over the river? Are we nuts?